Today I'm going to be sharing some of the bracelets in my vintage jewelry collection with you guys. As I go along, I'll tell you a little bit about each bracelet. Hopefully this content will be both informative and enjoyable for you guys. I have a lot of bracelets in my collection of vintage jewelry. These are just a few of them. I store them in different ways. Some of my pieces are stored by era. Some of them are stored by designer. In the case of these bracelets, I've simply stored all of the bracelets that weren't bangles together. Let's get started. The first one I'm going to show you guys is going to be this one. I recently cleaned this one, and I'm going to be doing content showing you how I went about cleaning it. It still has a patina on it. My main reason for cleaning this bracelet was it was so dirty I couldn't really see some of the details on it. This bracelet I've seen listed several different ways, and I haven't put a lot of time into researching it. I've seen this listed as a unsigned Hobe. I've also seen it listed as Austro-Hungarian, and I've seen it listed as Niger. I'm not so sure exactly what this bracelet is, who made it, something I'm going to have to put a lot more time and research into. I like researching all of my pieces. I haven't been able to do that with each one. I've put it on so you guys can get an idea of what it looks like when it's on. Zoom in so you can get a really good look at the details. This next bracelet is a Goldette bracelet, probably from around the 1950s. They did a lot of bracelets like this. Some of them are signed, some of them are unsigned. I have 2 or 3 more of these bracelets. They're just not stored with these, so I'm not showing them today. This is kind of a charm bracelet. You can see that the charms slide on it. They're basically copying Victorian style bracelets that were done like this. There were bracelets in the Victorian era that were made out of watch fobs, and they would do them as charm bracelets. Give you a really good look at all of the pieces on this. This looks like kind of a donkey. I don't know what that is. Dragon, maybe. Then we have a star cameo, and by the looks of it, this is a real shell cameo. And we have this piece that's kind of beat up a little bit. And as you can see, this one's missing a stone. Zoom in on this so you guys can see where it's signed Goldette. These 2 bracelets I thought I would show together because they're both done with the kind of mesh material. Both of these are unsigned. Sarah Coventry did one that was a little similar to this one I had saw in the book, but I can't claim this to be a Sarah Coventry because it's not signed. And then we have this one, and it has the little delicate faux pearls. This type of bracelet can be antique, and it can also be vintage. These bracelets started out being made for little girls. My guess is this one was probably made for a little girl. It's probably about 4 inches, if that. This is probably going to be one of the earlier ones. Later on, sold to a lot of men that were going off to war. They would buy these as keepsakes for their mothers, their girlfriends. And I'm going to show you how I know that this one is before 1920. And the reason I know that is because of the marking on the inside. So this bracelet was made by DFB and Co. And that was the way they marked them when they first started making them. Then sometime around 1920, they began marking them without the initials, and it would be something like, I think it was Briggs, Barks, and Bacon, something like that was the name of the company. As you get older, your memory's not as good. So this one is prior to that time. But it is a cute little sweetheart bracelet that was most likely worn by a little girl at some time or the other. These next 2 bracelets, these are coin bracelets. These also are not signed. Monet did a bracelet like this. There's a possibility that one of these could have been a Monet and perhaps the tag fell off of it over time. But I think these are really neat. I like coin jewelry. I have quite a few pieces of coin jewelry. Some of them are fine jewelry, and then I have a couple of pieces that are vintage. This Celestial Charm bracelet is by a company called Glassworks. Hang tag on it says Glassworks Studio Limited. You can see we have plenty of different types of stars on this piece. Then we have, of course, the man in the moon. Some smaller stars, and then these little stars with the rhinestones. Just a really fun bracelet to wear. This next bracelet is an old rhinestone bracelet, and it was given to me by a friend. It is in excellent condition. It doesn't have any markings on it, but it is very well made because all of these rhinestones are set rather than being glued in. That's one thing that I look for when I'm out thrifting and I'm looking at vintage jewelry. You can tell if a piece is good quality by the way that the rhinestones are set into it. This bracelet has a very Gothic look to it. It's a very well-made bracelet. This end is missing, I believe, the ring that it attaches to. But just by looking at the clasp on this, I believe that this is probably a J. Crew. This is the type of clasp that J. Crew uses on a lot of their jewelry. A pretty cool bracelet to wear. They've done a combination, goldish toned rhinestones. Then we have some that are clear, and then we have the black stones in the middle. You can see where it's all put together. This is probably a J. Crew. J. Crew's jewelry is pretty well made jewelry. It's collectible. Some of their pieces are already much sought after by collectors. So if you run across pieces of J. Crew, keep that in mind, that many of their pieces are collectible, and I believe with time will become even more collectible. This bracelet is a gold tone bracelet, and the stones that are in this, these are glass stones. If I had to guess, I would say that maybe this one was from the 50s. I haven't really done a lot of research on it. Or the fact is, I haven't done any research on this piece, even though I've had it for many years now. I do think this is a very beautiful color. It's amber colored glass. This is a vintage tourist bracelet. And there are quite a few of these floating around online. Some of them are from Paris. Some of them are from Spain. I've seen them from places like Mexico. These are pieces of jewelry that were popular with tourists, and usually they're from the 60s and the 70s. There may be a few floating around out there that are from the 50s. They do have a very old look to them, but they aren't as old as many people mistake them to be. I've heard people say that they were from the 1920s and the 1930s. But if you do a little bit of research, which is what I had to do with these, you'll find out that most of them are from around the 1960s. There may be a few from the 50s. I've seen one listed quite recently online that was from Mexico, and it was from the 70s or later because the coins that were on it were actually stamped with dates. I have 3 of these total, and they're all from Paris. This one has a little piece that dangles off the end. Basically says Tour Eiffel, so tour the Eiffel Tower. This is another one that I have. This one's a lot larger. And of course, most of these bracelets are going to have some kind of famous landmarks. Sometimes they'll have just one, sometimes they'll have many. On this one, you can see it has the Eiffel Tower, and it says Tour Eiffel Paris. This one is Notre Dame. This one says Souvenir of Paris. Zoom in on that and see if we can tell what that says. I don't know, guys. Maybe you can read it, but I can't. I think it's because this piece curves like it does. I can't make out what it says. But I do see, now that I've zoomed in on it, that I need to clean this. This one is put together differently. If I had to guess, I would guess that maybe this was the later of the two. And it also has the little piece that dangles off the end. And all of these are of the Eiffel Tower. Neat pieces to own. Definitely fun conversation pieces. This one is a charm bracelet, and I bought this off of one of Sugar Vision's auctions. I haven't been able to watch hardly any auctions for quite some time because I'm usually working. I do enjoy watching many of the auctions that are on YouTube. There's a lot of great YouTube sellers out there. This one is really fun. It's why I wanted this, and I call this my lucky bracelet because you can see that it has a lot of different luck charms on it. This one says touch me for luck, and it's a Buddha. Then we have a little cutout here that I suppose is a 4-leaf clover. This looks like some kind of, like it's supposed to be some kind of animal tooth. Then we have our horseshoe, we have a pineapple. This piece is damaged. Didn't notice that. I may simply just remove that. Then we have a little 4-leaf clover with a ladybug, a crown, and a shell with a faux pearl. Very cute bracelet. This is a nice old vintage Kremitz bracelet. And it's done in a rose-colored gold and a yellow gold. This is not any kind of carat weight gold. I believe this bracelet is simply just gold-plated. A lot of Kremitz jewelry had gold plating on it. The design on this is flowers and leaves, or roses and leaves rather. And I'll show you where this one is marked. Here's where this one's marked Kremitz. This is another mesh bracelet, and this is a Victorian revival. If I can get it open, I'll show you guys how it opens and closes. This part lifts up. The bracelet is adjustable. You can close it back wherever you want to. I've seen some antique bracelets that were made this way. It's a little dinged up here, but still very cute, still wearable today. I like how it has the little part here that dangles down. Another one that I haven't really done a lot of research into. It's done in a book chain style. And this is Egyptian Revival. I'll show you the back of it. This is how the back looks. There are no markings on it. I have these pieces that look like, I guess these are supposed to be pharaohs. We have some scarab beetles. Another pharaoh or Egyptian queen. And then we have this piece here. Very fun bracelet to wear. This next bracelet came in, I believe it was a Goodwill lot or something along those lines. And I kept it because I thought, how sad is it that someone decided to get rid of this? This probably meant something to someone because you can see it has names on it. And if we flip this over, it has a date for each one, which was probably birthdays. We have Karen, July the 29th, 1954. Then we have David, July the 15th, 1956. And Cindy, who was born October the 22nd, 1955. Now, I'm just guessing that these were the birth dates, and this may very well have belonged to someone's mother. How it ended up in a Goodwill lot, there's no telling, but to me, pieces like this that are sentimental, I don't know why someone wouldn't hold on to it. And then it also has this little stone at the end of it. I thought, how sad that someone decided that they just didn't really need this bracelet anymore. Held on to it and added it to my collection of vintage bracelets. These bracelets that I've shown you guys today, this is just a small part of my collection. I have been collecting for many years and still collect, still buy pieces. I do need to slow down a little bit because you would think that jewelry wouldn't take up that much room, but if you're a collector, you already know that it can take up a lot of space. I hope that you guys enjoyed seeing these pieces. I hope that some of the information that I gave you on the pieces that I have researched was informative. My only regret is that there are a few pieces in here that I haven't taken a lot of time or put a lot of research into. I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to share these items with me. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notification on more content about collecting vintage and antique items. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.